Capitol because in addition to the normal business, what is a very busy time here during the legislative session, we also had a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, a lot of heated speeches, both in the Senate and House this morning in regards to that raid. Very differing remarks and comments and sharp arguments and you could say different reactions here under the Gold Dome from Republicans and Democrats. That's not unexpected. Some Republican lawmakers we talked to, here's some of what they had to say. They said that there are lingering concerns about election security and fairness surrounding Georgia's 2020 elections, and they say the only way to answer those questions is through a full and transparent process. Here's what one of those Republican lawmakers that we talked to had to say about this morning.
Welcome a thorough investigation. Appreciate what the FBI is doing. I think Georgians have been waiting for a long time with lingering concerns and questions about election security. And the only way to get those answers is through a transparent process.
Now, Democrats we talked to today, those Democratic state lawmakers calling it unnecessary, politically charged, condemning the raid. And they also said that this moment, warning that this moment is, in their words, bigger than any single election, saying that the integrity of future elections and public trust is on the line. Here's what one of them told us today.
This is how this is going to play out. Anybody can see it. What's going to happen in a few weeks is our Attorney General Pam Bondi will call a press conference. She will claim that she's now found the votes that Trump won Georgia. She then will go to other states and demand that they give over their ballots too. They will then go forcefully take those ballots, and then she will then call a press conference and say, we've decided that Trump won the 2020 election. That's exactly how this will play out. And then the whole purpose of it is to undermine the 2026 election. That is the purpose of this. So it is bigger than just Fulton County. You can see how this is going to have a domino effect.
And I also did, Ariel, reach out to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's office for comment today, a spokesman there saying that they had no comment at this time. Ariel.
Yeah, Deidre, I appreciate that you were able to get an understanding as to what was happening there at the Georgia Capitol and how lawmakers were reacting to the situation. You know, something I think that I have seen from lawmakers and just a concern that we heard voiced yesterday, I believe it was Senator Harold Jones spoke about it a little bit, which is just what is the chain of command for the evidence once it is turned over and in the FBI possession. I think the question that some people are asking is, what does this process look like? Will it be transparent in terms of how that chain of evidence is going to go moving forward?
That's right, Ariel. We heard that both from Fulton County lawmakers, from county elected officials, as well as Democratic state lawmakers yesterday and today, who are concerned about who will have their hands on those documents, what the process will be like, how that is going to play out as far as the investigation and the handling of those documents. Still a lot of unanswered questions. Even some Republican lawmakers that I reached out to for comment today said that they still are working to learn more about the raid, and so because of that, they said they did not feel comfortable commenting at this time.
Deidre, I appreciate that. You know, I think it's when you have lawmakers who can say, I want more information to try to understand the situation. It'll be interesting to see if they do voice an opinion or want to weigh in here later, maybe after taking a look at things. But I'm curious, as the reporter covering this, are there any big questions that stand out to you, things you're curious about? I know that you've covered this so extensively from a state level. Anything that you're wondering more about as the reporter?
Well, just the uncertainty as far as how these documents are being looked into, investigated, what that process will look like. It would be great if we could get more information from federal officials as far as what that process will be like moving forward, what exactly they're looking for. Of course, we have this broad, handling of the documents, grabbing these documents, but we really still have a lot of questions as to what exactly specifically perhaps that they're looking for and grabbing such a massive amount of documents in regards to the 2020 election.
Deidre, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that because I understand that there were
thousands of documents taken from the facility. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do appreciate your reporting as always. Thank you for joining the conversation today and letting us know where things stand. I appreciate you. Okay, guys, we're going to move on here because we have a lot of things to get to, and I want to let you know a little bit more about a situation that unfolded in Cobb County. We were talking here in the newsroom as we heard this come in, and now we have a little bit more information about a woman who was shot by police at Cobb County Police Headquarters. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called in to investigate, as is standard procedure. But let me tell you how this unfolded, because Wednesday evening, the GBI actually says that a woman with a gun was reportedly shot multiple times by a Cobb County police officer. They say that this woman, and she's been identified as 26-year-old Rebecca Patterson, went into Cobb County Police Headquarters and asked to speak with an officer. The officer and Patterson went outside and had a conversation, at which point Patterson allegedly pulled out a gun and pointed it at the officer. Now, that officer told Patterson to put down the gun, but she allegedly didn't listen, and the officer ended up shooting her multiple times. In an email to Fox 5, Cobb County Police say that additional officers responded quickly from inside of the building. They rushed outside and began rendering aid to her. We know at last check she was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but the GBI is investigating. We don't know what led up to her pulling out that gun, allegedly, and we're going to try to get more information as this continues to progress. In the meantime, though, I do want to show you some incredible video. We've got Tyler Fingert here with us, and Tyler, we're going to switch gears because you covered a story about a person who basically stormed a TSA checkpoint at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and a bystander who jumped in to help out, and now we're getting a firsthand look of how that happened.
Yeah, so we are playing some of the video right now. We're going to have two different clips. This one is where you see him kind of running around the airport. He basically entered at about 8:23 in the morning, 8:22 in the morning, back on October 30th. You see him walking right there on the left side of your screen, and then we cut to another part. He's like walking to different areas, and then just about 2 to 3 minutes after he enters the airport, you can see him making his way towards the main TSA checkpoint. He's off to the right side of your screen. You see him kind of like having his hands in the air, and now he's running towards the actual checkpoint. In just a moment, he's actually going to get and actually enter the TSA checkpoint. He'll go around this couple right there and then enter the actual TSA checkpoint. And this, again, all happened on October 30th, and then in a second you'll see him actually go under one of the stanchions there, and he'll go to one lane. He won't be able to get through, and then he's going to go to it. You see right there, that's one lane he went to. Looks like a lane 9 at the main TSA checkpoint at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And then he goes to a different lane. If we can play that video clip now, this is where the situation all unfolds. So you can see he gets kind of pushed away by a TSA officer. This TSA officer there tries to stop him. Another one jumps in as well. And a third tries to close that door right there.
Is that an agent trying to close the door? It looks like a woman.
Yes, she works for, she's one of the ID checkers, and there you see it right there. The guy, Mark Thomas is his name, body slammed the guy down to the ground. We're going to play it again. Right there, picked him up, threw him to the ground. He's an ex-MLB player, so I guess he has some skills, clearly, to be able to pick him up. And then so TSA obviously takes over at that point. And this was the end of the situation, kind of, until you see him get back up and he tries to go through again. That's when TSA officers put their hands on him and get him to the ground. Eventually, you'll see APD right there showing up right on time to be able to pull out the cuffs and cuff this guy. He's identified as 40-year-old Fabian Leone. We did this story back in November. We talked to Mark Thomas, and he told us just about his experience with all of this. And basically, an APD report said witnesses told officers Leone entered the checkpoint running full speed, knocking people to the ground. Police say he made it past the document checker before a bystander, who we now know as Mark Thomas, stepped in to stop him. 2 TSA agents or officers were injured during the incident. Once arrested, police say Leone told officers he had been drinking alcohol and had taken drugs before the incident. And according to Mark Thomas, we spoke to him again today to get his reaction. We played him the video. I wouldn't send it to him. We got the video the other day, and I didn't want to.
Raw reaction.
I wanted his raw reaction. His reaction was, "Oh my God," was the first thing he said, because he said he remembers it exactly how it unfolded, and basically he was saying that he would do it all over again. Take a listen to what he told us earlier today.
It's kind of exactly how I remember it. I don't remember I think it was the older gentleman getting knocked to the ground, which looked pretty bad just from watching the video. But I do remember exactly. I actually kind of remember getting him a little higher off the ground, and he felt bigger, but he didn't look bigger on that video. So it's almost exactly how I remember it. He was very soft-spoken. He just kept saying, "Oh, I'm okay, let me up, I'm okay." It's like I kind of clearly see that he was sort of detached from the entire situation.
And so that is obviously the situation where he was able to intervene. You see him in the blue cap right there, the light blue cap on the side of your screen, off to the side there. And obviously they were just his concern was trying to make sure that he was able to stop him before he could get even further into the airport. Obviously, that is the way the TSA refers to it as it's the non-secure side of the airport.
Yes.
Once you go through the metal detectors, that's considered the secure side.
Of course.
But no one likes to be able to see that situation unfold like that. And he says he's glad he was there to be able to intervene. But he did tell me today, and I brought it up to him, I said, you don't know what he could have had on him. He could have had a weapon, because obviously he wasn't screened by TSA.
This is really incredible, just the fact that he didn't even hesitate, and the way that he lifted him before putting him on the ground. It's honestly like he used, the way his legs went out, you could almost see like the sliding into home plate, from the baseball experience. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that no one, further was really seriously hurt from this, and that the situation didn't end much worse. Incredible too that he admitted and said that he had been taking drugs and alcohol, and then this is what he was prompted to do as a result, or felt that way.
Yeah, and that came according to the Atlanta Police Incident Report.
Okay.
Those details came out about him on apparently
well,
drugs
and
alcohol.
I think if you're a bystander here in the line at TSA, there are quite a few red flags that just go off in my mind. It's like, you see people rush often in an airport. That's not unusual. People run late, but he's like running through with absolutely zero baggage, like not even a backpack. And that automatically, to me, it's like, okay, where are you going in such a hurry without, like, maybe you would think, oh, he's trying to reach a family member because they forgot something before they make it through. But clearly not the way to handle it if that were the case.
And I'm interested to know, and I need to reach out to the TSA to ask, because you see at one point when Fabian Leone gets back up, the officers, the TSA agents are just basically like this.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're not supposed to be touching people.
Right.
And obviously let Atlanta Police. And so that was something Mark Thomas brought up, that bystander. He said that he was curious whether there needs to be more of a police presence. At the TSA checkpoints, there are Atlanta police officers. They are stationed at the back. There's like an elevated platform that they are at every TSA checkpoint.
Right. I've seen
but
that.
I'm curious if there's normally than one, because normally I just see one officer. So that'd be something to reach out to Atlanta Police on, to ask whether this is something they're considering, maybe having more officers there just in case.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, thank you for your reporting on this. I appreciate it, and wonderful that we were able to get that video, because that just was pretty incredible to watch. So thank you.
It took months to get it. We filed a records request. We've been asking for it. We're just glad that we were able to get it approved finally, to get released so we could show it to you guys here on Fox Local first.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, Tyler, thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on here because, guys, there's a big question, and I know a lot of us are wondering it at this point, and it is, are we headed towards another government shutdown? Right now, we know that there's no sign yet of a compromise between Democrats and Republicans, and Democrats do have a list of demands, and they say they want to change the way ICE agents operate, and they're willing to shut down a big portion of the federal government in order to make it happen. Among the changes, they want to prohibit masks for ICE agents, require body cams, and end roving patrols. Democrats also can point to some public support. Take a look at this Fox News poll. It showed that 59% of registered voters now say ICE is too aggressive. That is a 10-point jump from just 6 months ago. Republicans may be open to negotiate, but not over a shutdown. Some lawmakers are also calling for impeachment against Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Tom Tillis, a Republican, actually says that he doesn't believe she knows how to manage and is failing at the job. Despite a meeting with the White House border czar Tom Homan, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says there will be no cooperation with ICE. He posted on X that the job of local police policies is to keep people safe, not to enforce federal immigration laws. On that point, the public is split. 49% say local government should be required to cooperate with ICE. The White House responded saying, no one is asking you to enforce federal immigration laws. We're just asking you to honor ICE detainers and let them know when criminal illegals are in your jail so they can safely pick them up and deport them. In the meantime, a partial shutdown would go well beyond immigration here. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was asked what he would say to a TSA agent or a air traffic controller who would begin to miss paychecks again, repeating this whole big saga. And he actually said that he told reporters, go talk to Majority Leader John Thune. We've laid out a plan, and that's the way to go. So Chuck Schumer is sticking to his guns, at least when it comes to what he wants to see happen. Unlike last year's shutdown, though, this one would not impact the Department of Agriculture, so SNAP food benefits would not be affected. So that is, I guess you could say, a silver lining in all of this. But just this morning, there was a procedural vote in the Senate to see whether or not this bill would move forward. And the Senate actually blocked the massive funding bill because, or at least Democrats in the Senate did. So that official vote in the Senate on whether or not to fund the government is expected to happen tomorrow night. And we will keep you updated on that official vote as things progress forward. In the meantime, I'd like to bring you back here closer to home as we talk about some major updates to our weather with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. And Jonathan, I hate to say it, but are we in, or maybe ask it, are we in for a round 2 this weekend?
We are in for a round 2 this weekend.
Okay.
In fact, I've been listening into a National Weather Service call, and the tone of the call changed over yesterday, and this is now taking more of a serious import. So let's go ahead and dig in and dive in, because we're bracing for our, not the first, not the second, and it is the third weekend in which we are facing winter weather in our neck of the woods. That said, the ire of the storm in terms of impact, the greatest impacts will be in the Carolinas, but we're now getting some new information based on new models that are coming in saying that there will be significant impacts across eastern Georgia that will stretch into the metro area. If you can follow the coloring here, red, major impacts, moderate impacts, and yellow indicating minor impacts. As we zoom in here, this is an all snow event, folks. I know last week we were talking about ice developing a wintry mix, sometimes sleet, sometimes freezing rain. This will be a full out snow event, and it speaks to just how cold the temperatures will be by the time we rise Saturday morning. So the farther you go to the west of the metro area, the lesser the impacts will be. But at this point, we can't say that there will be no impacts for those of you who are along and near the Alabama-Georgia state line, but it will be the South Carolina and North Carolina Georgia state lines that we'll be watching closely for the highest snowfall amounts as we get into the day Saturday. This is kind of a one-day affair. As of about noon, we got new information in, and that is that a winter storm watch is now in effect for all metro Atlanta counties. We join our eastern counties that could expect up to 3 inches of snowfall. This is all Saturday. This watch starts Friday evening, goes through Sunday morning, with the focus of the precip happening between the hours, the worst of it all happening between Saturday morning 7 o'clock, tapering off in the metro area as early as 1 p.m. Joining along with the snowfall threat are wind gusts that could top 35 miles an hour, and then single-digit wind chills. This is chilling here, Ariel, to use this word.
Yeah.
On this call, they said in North Georgia, there could be wind chill values that are negative 15.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Is this Chicago? What's going on
I don't
here?
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening here. So you want to see the model, so let's go ahead and time all this out. Let's watch it here together, Ariel. Tomorrow, you may get hit with a shower or two as the low pressure comes to town. It's not the front of it that we're concerned about it, but it's its backside as it pulls in. Basically, what another low has done, it's developed out in the Atlantic, and it is making this one stay a little bit further to the west, meaning it's going to be more continental rather than a nor'easter that rides the coast. With it being further inland, it's going to give Georgia the opportunity to get a significant amount of moisture on the backside. And the backside of any area of low pressure is this cold side. And so the temperatures will have already fallen. You will experience that from the time you go to bed Friday night to the time you wake Saturday morning, that there's been a significant and a distinct change in the air. Now, as we go throughout the day Saturday, I think you'll wake up to snowfall. My start time time based on the latest modeling is 3 a.m. So 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Now we're at 6, so let's run the model here. Waves keep on rolling through. That's pretty far south too. The western extent of this right now appears to be the I-75 corridor, and areas to the east will face the greatest impacts, and that will continue through the 3 o'clock hour. It's a little bit more splotchy in nature, scattered, but then for those of you out across East Georgia, you're just getting pummeled with some heavy snowfall amounts that are going to be downright staggering to consider. This all just kind of came up within the past couple of days. So here's what we're running right now. I think this is a safe model to work with. I think it's a nice blend of what we're seeing area wide. When I say area wide, across a number of models, I think this one is a good way to look at the storm. How much will we get here in the Atlanta metro area? Kind of taking a deep breath as I say this. I know there's a lot of forecast fatigue because of everything that happened last week. I'm just going to be honest with you. Take that and throw that out. Forecasting ice and forecasting snow, that's just two different things. And if you're not mindful of what could happen or the worst that could happen here, you could end up in a bit of a problematic situation Saturday. So at this point, we're going for a trace to an inch for the Atlanta metro area. What counties am I talking about? Fulton, DeKalb. That would include Cobb County, and I would also throw Clayton in the mix. Now, if you're in northern DeKalb, Forsyth, certainly Gwinnett, Newt, and Henry counties, I think you're closer to that 1 inch mark. You cross the I-75 corridor and you get farther out to the west, that's when I'm saying, okay, I think you could be closer to trace amounts. This is going to all come within a probably 6 to 8 hour window, but look at these amounts as you look up into northeast Georgia, running up to 3 inches of snowfall in Athens, more than that in Gainesville and Blairsville. They pointed out those 3 cities along, I'm calling them BAG for short, Blairsville, Athens, and Gainesville, where you all are going to get absolutely hit with some big time impressive snow totals as we get into the day Saturday. This should all wind down by sunset Saturday, and then the temperatures take a very steep nosedive. A couple things I should mention about this, because we can wrap this up fairly shortly. It will be a light, fluffy snow. This is a dry snow. This is not a wet snow.
I like that. I do like that.
So it's a fun snow, but you're going to need a lot of it to work with for the kids who want to make snowmen and all that kind of stuff. There's a chance that these totals or potential totals that we're looking at are more conservative than not. Considering what we've been through, we are playing a bit more conservative. If you get more, which is very likely, you're going to have more to work with in terms of any fun-making activities. It's not going to be a wet, heavy snow, and that's what is going to likely kind of make our predictions off a little bit. So these could really get out of pocket, or they could hold right in pocket, but I'm expecting them to get out of pocket, to be personally honest with you. The other part of this that we don't experience here, because we're not in the northern plains of the Great Lakes, are really high winds. And wind gusts, as the snow is falling, especially as the final bands are going through East Georgia, will likely top some 35 to 40 miles an hour. It will be a very cold, blustery event, and the snow will likely be blowing. So we're looking at dry snow, so it will easily blow, and it will impact visibility. So travel is not recommended if you don't have to on Saturday. Now, obviously, you're looking down in LaGrange, you're looking at maybe even Noonan, Griffin, Thomaston. You're saying, okay, it is what it is. I think my plans can stay firmly affixed. Perhaps that is the case, and maybe that's what some people here are saying in Atlanta, but the data is pointing to these numbers getting bigger, not getting smaller.
Got it. Jonathan, thank you for your hard work as always, keeping us up to date. I mean, this is round 3, and we're definitely going to stay tuned to see as this progresses, keeping in mind, of course, that this is Saturday is expected to be the main day that we would see the effects from this storm. So, Jonathan, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, guys, we're going to continue along here. We've got some other headlines to get to. I want to let you know about a federal rate cut or not to start the new year. And we're also going to take a look at what the new border czar in Minneapolis has to say about decisions. So we're coming up on that next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. If you're listening in on the radio, welcome. Thanks for listening. Let's get to some other headlines that I want to tell you guys about. So, in his first press conference since arriving in Minneapolis, White House border czar Tom Homan spoke publicly, addressing reporters about the recent situation that's been unfolding in Minneapolis. He says he has a personal opinion about the shootings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, both killed at the hands of ICE and Border Patrol there in Minneapolis. But Homan says he isn't going to share his opinions at this point. Rather, he insists he wants to see the investigation play out. He arrived in Minneapolis Monday evening at the request of President Trump, and the White House is confirming he will be the main point person on the ground. He relieves Border Commander Gregory Bovino, who has been criticized for some of his more aggressive tactics there on the ground in Minneapolis. Homan has already met with top Minnesota officials, including Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, and says they agreed on the need for ongoing dialogue. Homan actually said ICE and CPB are working on a drawdown plan. State and local leaders have repeatedly called for a reduction in the ICE surge and are also suing the Department of Homeland Security to halt its operations in Minnesota. I'd like to let you listen to parts of what Tom Homan had to say when he addressed reporters earlier this morning.
The new video of Alex Preddy is now circulating. Your reaction to that, and do you think law enforcement could have played a role if, like, let's say Minneapolis police were able to respond to that? Have those top law enforcement officials said they'll help or do anything to help these agents who are out here?
I'm not going to comment on any of these shootings. I said from day one, I said on any of these shootings, as a career law enforcement officer, we'll let the investigation roll out, let the investigation play out, and let it go where it goes. I'm not going to come out and make any comments that I think is right, wrong. Do I have an opinion? Yeah, my personal opinion, but I'm not going to share that with you. I'm going to tell you, let the investigation play out and see where it goes. But again, the president, one of the words he said to me when I came up here, he said he didn't want to see anybody die. The less interference, the less rhetoric, the less, I have buried Border Patrol agents and I've buried ICE agents throughout my career, and the saddest thing I've ever done is hold hand a folded flag to a wife or a child. I don't want to see anybody die, even the people we're looking for. I don't want to see anybody die. And despite what people think of Tom Homan, I say a prayer every night that everybody goes home safe. This isn't good. But I think my conversations the last 2.5 days are leading us to a safer community. Letting ICE officers operate in the safety and security of a jail more than on the street. But we're going to enforce immigration law. For the people that say we're here to surrender our authority and the mission of enforcing immigration law, you are wrong. We're going to do target enforcement operations, and we're going to prioritize the public safety threats and national security threats. That is what we're here to do.
We'll keep you updated as the situation unfolds in Minneapolis and as next steps are taken with these investigations. But I want to let you know about where we stand with any potential rate cuts here in the new year. Switching gears to a bit of some economic news, because if you were hoping for an interest rate cut here in 2026, you're going to have to keep on waiting. The Federal Reserve Board announced it is going to leave rates as they are, even amid pressure from the president to continue to lower them. President Trump called out Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell, saying that he's not cutting rates fast enough. It's been something that President Trump has frequently said about the chairman. Despite months of presidential pressure, the Fed announced it's going to keep rates steady. They cut rates 3 times last year. And according to Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the reason for this is the economy is showing strong growth, but he's concerned inflation is still just too high. He said it eased significantly in mid-2022, but remains elevated relative to the the 2% longer run goal. Wednesday's decision is one of Powell's last meetings as Fed chair before his term ends May 15th. And according to the president, that is when Americans will finally see rates go down, when Jerome Powell leaves office. Powell is giving advice for his next in line, saying not to get caught up in elected politics. In his final months in office, he does face a Justice Department investigation over what Trump's administration has described as, quote, overspending on a renovation budget. Powell is the first sitting Fed chair to be subjected to a criminal DOJ investigation, but many, including Powell, believe it's politics. Powell says that this action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. That was his words to reporters. Now, President Trump could name Powell's successor as early as this week. As soon as we get that information, we'll let you know right here on Fox Local. In the meantime, I want to let you know about something that's happening here locally to help families in crisis. A local nonprofit is teaming up with Gooder in order to make sure that people don't have to say goodbye to their pets when they're facing economic uncertainty, and they can make sure their pets are fed and taken care of. We're going to talk to our Chris Rosenthal about that coming up next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Thursday afternoon. I have a story to tell you about that's pretty good news. It involves a couple of organizations teaming up to make sure that families in crisis don't have to say goodbye to their pets and can make sure their pets are still being fed. Our Chris Rosenthal joins us live. And Chris, I understand this involves a pet food vending machine. Care to explain?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is that pet food vending machine right here behind me. And so it's I'm at the community market here off of Edgewood Avenue, and they've just put in this pet food vending machine along with Atlanta Dog Mom, and it's actually pretty cool how it works. You just put your debit card on it. You unlock it, put your debit card on it, but you don't get charged, and then it will it'll open up. and they have a pretty big selection here of food.
I'm gonna have you guys maybe stand right here behind Brian.
And this isn't just about free giveaway. This is really to help people with those with the costs of pet food. It becomes very challenging for people, and they end up having to give away their animals and put them in shelters. So the idea behind this is to really keep those animals in people's homes, keep families together. And I talked with Ebony Richardson earlier. She's with Atlanta Dog Mom, just about why this is, how this came to be and why this is so important.
Atlanta Dog Mom, our 501(c) nonprofit arm, is focused on affordable pet care. One of the main initiatives we have for that is our pet pantry. So we have a pet pantry where people can get free pet food for any reason. You don't have to have any qualifiers. And the vending machine is our first extension of that out of Clayton County into Metro Atlanta. So now people have a place where when they reach out to me for pet food assistance, I can direct them to somewhere that they can get the food that they need without transportation barriers, without having to make arrangements to meet up to get the food. So it makes it a lot more accessible for people across Metro Atlanta.
And why is there a need? Talk to me about the need and how this really helps people out.
Animal shelters have always been overflowing, but within the past few years, especially since the pandemic, the numbers have skyrocketed. And our hope with our pet pantry and low-cost pet care initiatives is that we can help people keep their pets at home before they even get to the point of considering taking them to the shelter. And so we always say if you can feed your pet, you can keep your pet. And that's one of the highest needs that we see is people unsure if how long they'll be able to afford their pet care if they are experiencing layoffs or experiencing homelessness or just, job shortages, wage shortages. I know SNAP benefits got cut, and so all of those things add up, and sometimes they can add up to the pet's got to go. So that's where we step in to help people keep their pets at home.
Yeah, so it really is more than just free food. I mean, it's much broader mission here, huh?
Absolutely. It's all about keeping families together, and a family includes your pet.
Yeah, and when people come here, what sort of pet food do they have?
We have cat and dog food here. We have wet and dry food. What's great about this machine is that we're able to track inventory based on people's needs. So far, I've been able to learn that the pet parents that are visiting this vending machine tend to have more dogs than cats. So that's helpful. When we restock, we'll bring more dog food to meet the needs of the environment.
Yeah, and they're able to use AI really to track some of those trends. And they say this is really popular. They rolled this out January 16th, and within 4 days they already had to restock it. This is Atlanta Dog Mom's first vending machine. They're planning to open the next one in Forest Park. Of course, if you want to help out this cause, you can donate. Go to Atlanta Dog Mom's website, and you can donate there. They're always looking for donations.
Yeah, Chris, I was going to ask, you took the question right out of my mouth, which is great, which is just if we want to help out, how can we do that? Because I think a lot of people watching this think probably this is a really great initiative, and it's a wonderful way to make sure that an entire family stays together. So if you wouldn't mind, one more time, they can go to the website to get more information and learn how to donate.
Yeah, for Atlanta Dog Mom, they can go to Atlanta Dog Mom's website. Just type that in, and you can find a resource to donate. They take money there. That's the best. They say that's the best, most efficient way.
Got it.
To really purchase goods.
As opposed to any dog food donations, just donate, and they'll make sure the money goes where it needs to. Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check back in with you here at 3 o'clock coming up, but I appreciate your time this afternoon. Guys, I want to tell you about something else really quickly that you can get involved to help out with, because a significant blood shortage because of the winter months and flu season is now threatening lives here across the United States. And at this point, the American Red Cross is saying it needs people to donate blood right now. A significant blood shortage is affecting a lot of the country, and many states are still under a layer of ice. If you've seen the images in, say, Oxford, Mississippi, or parts of Tennessee or in the Nashville area, a lot of areas are still cleaning up after the winter storm. And the American Red Cross is facing a dramatic decline in its blood supply, a 35% drop in just the last month, which is truly significant. And so one of the things the Red Cross is saying is that this means there just isn't enough blood to go around, and that means doctors and other healthcare providers have to make tough decisions as to which patients need the blood the most. Red Cross Dr. Courtney Lawrence actually says the supply was already suffering because of the intense flu season, but the last weekend's winter storm has just made this all the more difficult for hospitals to supply. They need all blood types. There are shortages of type A negative, B negative, and platelets the most. People with type O positive blood, as many of you know, can donate because they are the universal donor, and often this blood is used most often in emergencies. But the Red Cross is stressing that this shortage is alarming, and if you are able to donate, find a center near you, redcrossblood.org, and you can make sure to help give back. Guys, coming up, we're going to continue along here. We're going to check in with our Eli Jordan because he is finding out how a very popular video game is helping us better understand the journey of being a heart transplant, especially if you're a child. So this is a really unique. Eli Jordan's going to talk about it coming up next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstott, and this next story is pretty unique. A free Fortnite experience is actually helping players better understand what it's like to go through a heart transplant journey. Eli Jordan joins us live to talk a little bit about this. So, Eli, explain it. Break it down for us.
Hey, Ariel, and you know, if you play Fortnite, they got a bunch of different games in there. And if you play Super Pet World, you can find a really cool quest in there where you can learn how to save Alice, who needs a heart transplant. I know that sounds kind of strange, but it's a good way to get the message out about what, you know, a heart transplant patient goes through and what all, you know, they can reach 100 million people and what all, you know, goes entails heart transplant. But anyways, I am here with the CEO of Skillshot and the CEO of Enduring Hearts. And Skillshot developed this game. I'll talk to Todd Harris first. Todd, so tell me, what kind of game do we have going on here?
Yeah, so this game's from Ghost Gaming, and as I think I heard you say, it is inside Fortnite. So there's 100 million players a month playing Fortnite. You can develop mini games in Fortnite. This is called Super Pet World. It's a role-playing game where you're progressing a story, gathering pets, collecting those pets, and what is so special is this is a sneak peek preview of what we call an empathy quest, a quest where the player is learning about someone maybe unlike themselves, maybe like themselves. This young girl in a hospital bed, Alice, who needs a new heart. And the player goes on an adventure to help Alice fulfill this mission, actually gathering materials to build a mechanical backpack that's going to keep Alice alive while she waits on a transplant. I didn't know that this, while it's fictional inside our game, this is all based on real life stuff because our partner at Enduring Hearts brought this to our attention.
Yes.
This is what young people are actually going through.
And Linda Lee Smith, CEO of Enduring Hearts, tell me, why is it important to get this message out?
Yeah, it's really important. The average person on the street just doesn't realize that this journey even exists unless they've had a personal experience. So for us to be able to reach 100 million players on Fortnite is really important because research is the key to making, a patient like Alice be able to live a natural full life. And people just don't realize that the investment in research is what creates innovation. So we're partnering with innovation to create innovation on the medical side as well. So it's interesting that gaming and medical are intersecting here in innovation. But that is the key to making sure that they live a long life. And so we're just super excited to be able to partner and collaborate on something that's so unique and reach an audience that probably has very little knowledge about the journey of heart transplantation and even what happens afterwards with these children and their families.
Linda, we were talking earlier, you mentioned that pediatric research is one of the lowest funded research arms when it comes to medical research?
Yes, unfortunately, when it comes to the larger entities, the NIH and other larger research organizations, pediatrics only gets about 10% of the funding. So what we do at Enduring Hearts is critical because we focus solely on pediatric heart transplant research, and we open the door to new innovations from new investigators who are just coming into the field who would not qualify with the larger organizations. So we give them an opportunity to bring their concepts to life and to prove their theories and concepts and really push the industry forward.
And just to enlighten our viewers, I mean, you said, have a heart that lasts a lifetime. Right now, a heart will last roughly 20 years, and plus the anti-rejection medicine will totally destroy kidneys, and they'll have to get another heart along with another kidney. And you're saying, I hear you're saying, have a heart that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah, so we've been able to see in the last 13 years since Enduring Hearts has been an organization, we've seen the longevity of the actual transplanted heart go from, lower 12 to 14 years up to 20 plus years, which is very exciting. Our ultimate mission is to make sure that that one organ lasts that child a lifetime, and we will not stop until we achieve that goal.
Awesome. And this is the empathy quest. Real quick, I want to talk to Brian real quick about. You developed this, correct?
I did.
And so
with a team.
All right, gotcha. So tell me, what's it like? This is a little bit different than what you've developed before, correct?
It is. We have made games standalone before, but not in Fortnite, and not that help people understand and learn about important things such as transplants for pediatric patients.
And also, too, you got to learn about the Berlin heart, I guess.
It was awesome. It's the coolest thing ever. So we built our own version of it. You can see it's on the back here on Jonesy because I've completed the quest. But the idea is that we've bonded Alice with her pet Meep Neep, and Meep Neep, since you trust her pet, pets as a young kid, Meep able to pilot the backpack and help Alice's heart continue to receive what it needs pre-transplant. So this is Meep in the backpack and the actual backpack itself.
Well, that's really cool. I mean,
and you can see Meep's face.
And it's, you know, like I said, this fictional character, but it's real life situations and scenarios. Well, guys, this is really cool. It's a very unique situation that you guys have going in here at Skill Shot. And when is it, real quick though, Todd, when does this premiere?
Yeah, so the game is live now. Anyone could download Fortnite for free on your Xbox, your phone, your PC, type in Super Pet World and play the game and start leveling up your character. And then this weekend, we turn on this special quest with Enduring Hearts. So they can see Alice this weekend. It will be live only for the month of February, which is Heart Health Awareness Month. So start leveling up your character in Super Pet World, help Alice out, and raise awareness for a great cause.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Ariel, so start leveling up your character, Ariel, and get ready to help Alice out this weekend. As you know, you can go into Super Pet World off of Fortnite this weekend.
Yeah.
And find your side quests, your empathy quests to help Alice out and learn about heart transplants. And this will be going on through the entire month of February.
I love it.
Yes.
This is a wonderful way to build empathy through a fictional scenario, and I'm just so happy you were able to introduce this to us. I know we have a lot of Fortnite players here, so Free Pet World, they can get this empathy quest this weekend. And thanks, Eli, for bringing it to our attention, and of course introducing all the people who put it together and developed it. I really appreciate it. Okay, guys, we're going to move on here because we have a couple things to get to. You can see by the shoulder here that Tom Haynes is about to walk in and tell us a little bit about what he's got for 3 o'clock. But first, while he's getting his mic on, let me tell you about some other things that are happening, because I know a lot of you are concerned about security with the TikTok sale. So let's talk about it, because with this new update and the creation of this new U.S. TikTok venture, some national security concerns are being raised. As many of you know, there was a new deal to sell TikTok's United States, or rather to sell their operations based here in the United States, to save it from being banned. Some lawmakers are worried, though, that China might still have influence over the app. In addition to other U.S.-based companies involved in the agreement, TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, still has roughly 20% stake in the U.S. operations, and they're going to maintain ownership, actually, of the app's algorithm. The way this deal is set up, TikTok's algorithm is actually going to be licensed to the U.S. entity and be retrained on United States user data. Again, remember, Congress passed a law that forced TikTok to be sold, so that way the app had to comply with the law. I've seen a lot of concerns and a lot of you talking about how you're uninstalling TikTok. You feel like the algorithm is not what it used to be, and a lot of people are concerned that they are being censored. Users have been claiming that they have been censored over certain political viewpoints, and as a result, they are uninstalling the apps from their phones. So that's something that we're going to continue to keep you updated here on Fox Local. But in the meantime, we got Tom Haynes. What are we looking at for 3 o'clock, Tom?
Finally all mic'd up, ready to go, Ariel. We got a busy 3 p.m. hour ahead. Of course, the talk of the town is the possibility of snowy weather. At least it's snow this time, though, and not ice. And I believe, but we'll ask meteorologist Jonathan Stacy, who's here as well, if the forecasts are a little more definitive for this weekend than they were with that ice storm, which seemed to be all over the place. You know, when you're predicting ice, you just don't know how much is going to fall and when. Right. So I think we have a better grip on the timing of this weekend storm that is rolling in, but it's something that we have to pay attention to as we get closer and closer to the weekend. Also, this huge story down at the Fulton County Elections Headquarters, where FBI agents executed a search warrant. Our Kevin Stewart is down there, so we'll get the very latest on what is happening down there. A lot to get to, Ariel, here in the 3 p.m. hour.
A lot of good things, Tom. Appreciate it. Okay, guys, stick with us. We're going to see you right here at 3 o'clock.